One thing I like to stress is this, that we awaken to life, we start living from what is real when we realize there's nothing to learn, there's nothing to know. This is a big one. Very few people are aware of that. You see, because we read many books and then we have, quote, the knowledge from the book, and then we begin to think we know. But we know with our minds. Our heart does not have information. Our heart knows intuitively. So, let's give an example. Teachers would say, learn to let go, surrender, accept, forgive. Okay? We learn all these words, but these words cannot be carried out. Have you ever suffered from a fear and you said to yourself, okay, I'll accept it? And did you succeed? Come on, let's be honest. You'll find it doesn't work. Okay, why? Because acceptance is not something you do. It is not an action. You see, it is something you see. For example, I was reading just a while ago about a man telling his story, and he says, after awakening, all I have to do is see a beautiful flower, the sunset, the sky, a child, he said, even my own fear that arises, he said, and I feel tears in my eyes with joy. He said, because now I see what is real, and it's everywhere all around me. I call it the beloved. Okay, that's what we called it last week. I see it all around me, he said. Now, what is that? At that moment when he says, I am touched by this, he is surrendered, he is letting go, he is trusting. You see? All these things are happening. But he didn't put himself and say, oh, I must accept the beauty of this. You see? There's none of that. It happened automatically because he was able to see what is real. This is very, very important. When we talk about something that is real, I'd like you to visualize the following. Picture the sky. Picture it, okay? The sky, it's pure, it's clear, and the sun is there. It's very, very bright, it's beautiful. Picture that as what is real. Now, why do I call it the real? Because it never goes away. It's always there. It is real. Now we get clouds. And the clouds come in. And as they collect more and more and more, they become very dense. And before you know it, you don't see the sun anymore. It clouds over the entire sky, in our environment anyway. And after 2 or 3 days we say, oh, there's no sun. This is awful. It looks awful. It's so depressing. But we're not looking at what is real. The real is that despite the clouds, the sun is still there. The sky is still pure. You see? Now picture these clouds as your thoughts and emotions. And you cannot do away with them, because if they arise, just like the clouds, if they arise, there's nothing you can do about them until they start to cry, cold rain, and they begin to clear. You see? So we cannot let go, we cannot accept until we see the truth, what is real. When we see the real, there is still the discomfort, yes, and it's okay. You see, when we say it's okay and allow it, what I mean, I'm using the word allow it, what I mean is because we're seeing the real, we allow it automatically. And you will find that our fear gets less and less, our pain gets less and less. Before we know it, we're no longer caught in our egoic preoccupation. We begin to see the sky everywhere, the sun, the bright light everywhere, even in darkness. See, and that is the whole point. The whole point is that no matter how dark the sky is, you know the light is there. Similarly, if you're in pain, if you're suffering, okay, you'll find that suffering all comes from, not from what is, but what you think is. Okay, and that is the difference. and that makes all the difference in the world. So when people start to ask these questions, they say, well, how come I know the truth, but I don't live it? that is because you think you know the truth. And the moment you think you know the truth, you have an idea what the truth is instead of feeling it. And the truth is a feeling, it's an intuitive knowing, it's not an intellectual knowing. You see? So, it has no basis, it is not a thing. Okay? So there's no letting go, there's no surrender, there is no forgiveness. Course in Miracles is something very beautiful. He says, forgiveness is not saying, I'm going to forgive you. That's arrogant, isn't it? You're already blaming the person for what, I'm going to forgive you. You see? No, forgiveness is this. Realizing, but there's nothing to forgive. They did what they did because that's what they were at the moment. This is what is happening. And the moment you realize there's nothing to forgive, now that's forgiveness. Giving forth the space for everything to be what it is. Do you see the difference? Okay. Now, you see, there it's not an intellectual knowledge. It is a knowing inside you. You're looking at the sky. Because when somebody is exhibiting anger or fear, or you are feeling fear or anger, it is because something inside you is crying out for love, is wanting harmony. When you're unhappy, there's one thing you want, to be happy. You see? So when you begin to see the truth, the truth is right there in front of you. Like when you worry. What is worry? Worry about something that's going to happen. Well, first of all, it is not present. It hasn't happened yet. You see? So if you look at what is at the moment, you see, you allow yourself to see. The worry has no basis. Just like you allow yourself to see the sun, even though that it's hidden by the clouds. And if you allow yourself to see that in the moment the worry is futile, the worry will begin to fall away, because you're looking at what is real. See, the real is that which never changes. Now, there is a duality when we talk about seeing what is. What is made up of two aspects. When we call what is, you know what I mean by what is? Right now I'm sitting here, that's what is. Okay, I'm talking to you, that's what is. You're listening, that's what is. Okay? And when you look at what is at the moment, you can see the real within that moment. But there is another aspect that happens, and those are the two dualistic part of the what is. First, we see what we think is. That is the conditioned mind. Secondly, we can see what really is. You see? And that's what we're referring to. So the first one, we're not really seeing what is, we're seeing what we think is. Oh, he hurt my feelings. He did that on purpose. But what is the reality behind it? You see? How real is that? You see? So we're not seeing what is, we're seeing what we think is. But when you allow yourself to see what really is, what is, then all of a sudden there's a whole dynamic. In the same way, and I'm repeating myself, when you look at the sky and there's no sun and it's cloudy and it's raining and it's dark, the sun is still there. Nothing has touched it, and the sky is still there, clear and pure. Nothing has touched it. It looks like the sky is filled with clouds, but it's way, way below it, because the sky is space. You see? So you see, we're seeing what is. Now, the wonderful thing about it, when you begin to see what is real, is that everything in your life that presents a question, a problem, is easily seen.